Joe, good to see how you doing. Evening, how you been? Pablo, good to see you as well. How you doing? Evening, how you been? JP, good to see you as well, brother. How you doing? Evening, how you been? Tor, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Evening. Harris, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? How's things? Okay. Free and Feather, good to see you as well. How you doing? Evening, how you been? Stormy, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? How's things? Callie, good evening. Miles, how you, brother? I'm doing great. How you been, Callie? How's things? Hello, Miles. T, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Have we some bullish news today? Well, yes, we do. There's a lot of things happening essentially right now in the crypto space, to be fairly honest. Hi, Miles and CMF. Good to see you as well. Dennis, how you been? How's things? There's a few things happening right now inside the crypto space. A lot of perspective news is coming out from Vanik, perspective news from other essentially CEOs and executives around the world on what they essentially presume is going to be happening, essentially moving forward inside the crypto space. Jason, good to see you. How are you doing? Even Miles of CMF. So yeah, we have perspective news to essentially go through on tonight's live regarding Vanik on the market space. And then there's the other news that's circulating, who's going to be chosen for Trump's essentially crypto team to run the crypto show inside the United States. And then you have the candidates essentially, one of them being Brad, being the top contender essentially candidate for that as well. But yeah, so I'll give you a breakdown of what we're going to go through on tonight's live. Hey Miles, how are you feeling? I'm doing great, Mickey. Good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Even Miles of CMF. Jason, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? So, welcome to the CMF Live. If you're watching this for the first time ever, the CMF stands for Crypto Miles Family. My name is Miles. I'm the host of this live Monday to Friday, 11:25 p.m. UK time onwards. And in this live, we talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrency, CBDCs, AI, politics, and regulations. Vital information for you to know about regarding the world completely transforming into a digital space. We also do Q&As on this live as well, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer the questions you may have. And I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has retweeted this live on X because I'm getting notifications. Thanks so much to everyone on the CMF who's retweeted this live, who's liked this live, who's put a comment outside the live on X and liked each other's comments. And thank you so much to everyone on YouTube who's watching right now who's also liked this live and put a comment outside the live as well. If you haven't done that, just take a few seconds just to retweet and like the live and like each other's comments outside the live as well. And if you want, put a hashtag XRP Army, go for it. So let me give you a breakdown of what we're going to be going through on tonight's live. We're going to be talking about Trump media on tonight's live. In terms of what they're applying for, which is essentially ETFs. Then we're going to be talking about tonight's live regarding the Fed. So there are Fed members that have came out essentially talking about what they see as cryptocurrencies and interest rates and so on. So we have a perspective to go through regarding the Fed. Now, these are top Fed members that have came out with their news perspectives, which came out today. We're also going to be talking about Vanik's new perspective on Solana, essentially for this year. We're going to be talking about Ondo Finance on tonight's live as well, because Ondo Finance had their first massive live event essentially today, talking about their new features going ahead for tokenization plans. And we're also going to be talking about tonight's live regarding the potential candidates essentially for Trump's crypto council. It's been revealed finally. We're also going to be talking about another essentially major corporation coming inside the crypto space and creating themselves a crypto wallet. Now, they are a massive corporation. Once we get to that news, I'll reveal who they are and essentially how much of investments they've put ahead so far. And we're going to be talking about Latin America on tonight's live as well. Latin America has essentially, there's a lot of things happening inside the blockchain space when it comes to Latin America in terms of investments from different companies. So we're going to go through that on tonight's live as well. We're also going to be talking about on tonight's live regarding the Kremlin, BRICS, the big old BRICS, essentially Brazil, Russia, India, and South Africa. We're going to talk about BRICS on tonight's live because some major news has came out of BRICS from the Kremlin in Russia. We're also going to be talking about tonight's live regarding the matters of Czech Republic, which essentially is doing the opposite of France. France decided to think about doing unrealized gains taxes on crypto assets, and European citizens in general could be on the verge of paying taxes even if they don't sell their crypto assets, as was being discussed. But there are a few European countries that are thinking it's completely absurd to tax citizens even if they don't sell their crypto assets. And it really is. You shouldn't tax people for their crypto assets, even if they don't sell them. It's completely ridiculous. But we're going to go through that on tonight's live. We're also going to be talking about another company coming in and essentially opening up 2 ETPs for 2 particular crypto projects. Once we get to that news, I'll reveal which company it is and which crypto projects they've chosen for the next 2 ETPs in the European market space. And we're going to be talking about tonight's live, as usual, regarding XRP news and Ripple news towards the end of the live. So, mixture of news to go from tonight's live, but the first news we are going to be covering is regarding Trump Media. Because everybody's heard about Trump Media. Essentially, they own Truth Social, the social platform app. And now there's a new thing they're essentially doing with Trump Media, which we're going to go through. But before we go through the first news on tonight's live, let's go inside the comment section first, and then we'll go straight to the first news, comments, news, and back and forward. So let's see where we were inside the comment section. We were here. What's up, Miles? What's up? What's up to him about? What's up, CMF? Kerry, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? How with Brad, XRP is going to go astronomical. Yes, I do believe as well. Brad is definitely leading the way when it comes to XRP. I mean, even with the whole crypto Caesar package that Trump is trying to create. Hello, Miles and CMF. I hope that you had a good day all night. Let's go, Scott. How you doing, brother? How you been? How's things? Even Professor Miles, funky brother, good to see you as well. How you doing? Yo, what's up, CMF? Let's go. And even Miles on CMF, Manny, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Hello, my CMF on YouTube. Let's go, Scott. Even Miles and family. Ian, good to see you as well. How you doing? Pierce, good to see you as well. Even Miles and CMF, how you been? Once again, thank you so much to everyone who's retweeted this live, who's liked this live, or put essentially a comment outside live and like each other's live, essentially comments on the live as well outside on X. Now, let's go for the first news, which is essentially Trump Media. Now, Trump Media is a company that owns Truth Social and some other essentially Trump businesses on the internet. And this is what they're thinking about doing. So Trump Media unveils Truth.fi ETFs and essentially SMAs and expands into the crypto market space even more. So Trump Media and the technology group TMTG, the operator of Truth Social and Truth Plus, has announced that its application to register trademarks essentially for a series of exchange-traded fund ETFs and separately managed accounts, SMAs, essentially under the new Truth FI brand. Now, this initiative is a part of TMG's essentially strategy to introduce investment products aligned with America's first principles. These investment vehicles are designed to focus on essentially American manufacturing, energy independence, and Bitcoin-related strategies. The launch of Truth FI essentially is a significant component of TMG's financial services and fintech strategies, which includes investment up to $250 million to be a custodian by Charles Schwab's. So this isn't just some random thing that Trump's team is trying to brew up. Charles Schwab's is involved in this essentially. This partnership aims to develop the small size business, essentially American businesses, and ensure proper management of the funds. TMG and TG has partnered under an agreement for services and licensing with an affiliate of Yorkville Advisors. Pending necessary approvals, Yorkville essentially will act as a registered investment advisor for new financial vehicles, leading product developments, and guiding them essentially through regulatory process. This partnership is expected to play a crucial role in constructing the products and ensuring compliance with financial regulations. Devon, TMG's essentially CEO and chairman, emphasized the company's objective to provide investors with opportunities to essentially invest into American energy, American manufacturing, and firms that offer alternatives to existing funds. He stated that we aim to give investors a means to invest in American energy, manufacturing, and other firms that provide competitive alternative to the woke funds and debanking essentially problems that we find throughout the United States and the market space. He also highlighted the exploration of various strategies, including those related to Bitcoin, to align with the America First principles. So, Truth Social, essentially Truth Media, is Trump's company that owns Truth Social, and Truth Plus, and some other Trump essentially organizations. And they're thinking about doing American ETF, which pretty much aligns with what Trump has signed so far. One of the executive orders was essentially Trump to create this whole America First, which is, American businesses and American essentially blockchain companies, American and so on. And that is apparently going to be turned into an ETF, which is something that a lot of people might go towards, which is a positive for the United States, positive for the market space, positive in general for the crypto space as well, to be fairly honest. The more essentially Trump does these types of things, these types of products and offerings, the better it is for the United States, the better it is for the market space, the stock market and the crypto market, because they do tend to correlate with each other, to be fairly honest. Since we don't have that many rules and regulations inside the market space, and the cases still haven't been dropped, even though they are going to be dropped very soon, the stock market and the crypto market do tend to follow each other. Well, the crypto market tends to follow the stock market for the time being. So a positive note on the stock market is a positive note for the crypto market as well, because it brings a lot more investors to the table for American-based businesses. And we do have American-based blockchain companies. Now, moving on essentially from the announcement of ETFs for American businesses, essentially just going to be created by Trump, to Fed. So we've had some news coming from top Fed members, and their discussions are about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and interest. Here it is. In their latest statement, Fed members Christopher and August expressed their views on key economic issues such as stablecoin regulations, inflation, and monetary policy. Now, we are expecting some more news to come out of the Fed regarding interest rates inside the United States. Are we going to have more interest rates and so on? What was discussed beforehand is we should be expecting a few more interest rates. So Waller said that it was important to regulate stablecoins, which he described as a synthetic dollar. That has been the potential to make payments faster and cheaper while acknowledging their benefits. And essentially, Waller said the stablecoins require urgent regulatory oversight, adding that the sooner the better. Just to point out, this is the Fed, the same organization, the same department that was against cryptocurrencies, that said the Fed can't hold Bitcoin or isn't going to go against, essentially isn't going to go for cryptocurrencies. But the Fed has changed their tone recently when it comes to crypto assets. I mean, the last Fed meeting we had, they talked very positively about the crypto space. And now we have two top official Fed members talking about how the sooner the better we go into crypto regulations, especially for stablecoins. So Waller also noted that stablecoins could essentially further solidify the US dollar's position as the world reserve currency. However, when asked about the possibilities of the US creating street Bitcoin reserve, he categorically essentially rejected the idea from the Fed's perspective, explaining that the Fed will not implement such a project. Because it's not the Fed that's going to essentially implement this type of project regarding stockpile, crypto stockpile. It's the United States government that's going to be doing it. But nonetheless, they did say they want things to move faster when it comes to regulations inside the crypto space. Waller also retreated his skepticism on central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, saying he sees no need for a US to launch an individual CBDC for the time being. Meanwhile, Augustine offered an optimistic outlook for the US economy instead, noting that the job market has stabilized at essentially full employment. He said that the economy has reached full employment growth and is continuing essentially, and inflation is likely to fall to 2%. He also essentially touched on the concerns about inflation, explaining that recent sluggish inflation and phenomenon is largely due to base effects. He also noted that tariffs can affect inflation, but their direct impact on prices may be less important than their impact on the market expectations. Now, the biggest thing that's going around right now still inside the crypto space is that Trump is causing a volatile market space, essentially a volatile crypto space and a stock market space, and this is bad, and tariffs are bad for the United States. And the news is still going on with this perspective, and there's a lot of people essentially that are also going on with this perspective inside the market space, in the crypto space especially. I've said this and I'll say it again: tariffs are not going to have long-term effects on the market space. Tariffs cause short-term volatility, but in the long term, we're actually better off. Because if we don't do tariffs, if the United States doesn't do tariffs, then the world will continue the way it is, which means a downtrend for the market space. But tariffs essentially puts the United States back in charge, which is a better world, to be fairly honest. And as much as, Fed members who are also against Trump in some cases, but other news reporters and journalists who keep on spreading FUD, there are also some people that are informed inside the crypto space who talk about tariffs and say that tariffs is bad for the market space and so on. In reality, it's a yes or no type of question. Because yes, tariffs are bad, but no, tariffs are not long-term, essentially bad for the market space. It's only short-term volatility until every country caves. And one by one, countries are caving so far. So it's short-term volatility for the market space. Long-term, we're better off. On interest rates, essentially, that's why essentially the Fed is saying that tariffs shouldn't have too much of an effect on inflation, the way the news describes it. Now, he also noted that the long-term interest rates are shaped by complex market essentially forces rather than direct actions by the Fed. However, he said that he would be most concerned if long-term interest rates rose along with inflation expectations, but that has not yet happened. And he also acknowledged that the current Fed policy rate is significantly higher than the national rate, suggesting essentially that the pace of rate cut should essentially be slowed to find a suitable standing point or stopping point, essentially. But even the Fed themselves are saying that tariffs should not have any sort of major effects on the market space. So if you're somebody that is worried about what Trump is doing with tariffs, he's not doing anything to inflation, to be fairly honest. Tariffs are not doing anything to inflation whatsoever. Even the Fed is saying this, just for confirmation. Because it's short-term volatility, so it has zero effect on inflation, pretty much. Has some effect, but it seems like zero effect because it's short-term volatility. Now, until every country caves, pretty much, which maxes 48 hours for each country. Now, Van Eck is what we're going to talk about next. So, Van Eck is predicting essentially that one particular crypto project can reach a new price point this year, especially. And they're projecting that Solana can reach $530 in 2025. Now, Van Eck has given many perspectives of particular crypto projects of what they think they can possibly reach to. So they've talked about Bitcoin reaching $250,000 is what Van Eck said, which is similar to what Standard Chartered Bank said, which is around $200,000 to $250,000. Van Eck also said that Ethereum can possibly reach right around 5,000 to 10,000 this year. They've also given other perspectives on the matter regarding XRP and essentially not the price point of XRP, but regarding the case of XRP and so on. But their newest perspective essentially is Solana, $530 is going to happen this year. So here it is. Van Eck asset management firm has recently forecasted that the price of Solana will reach $530 by the end of 2025. In a recent report, the firm said that Solana's price will go up essentially due to two primary factors: Solana's growing market dominance in the smart contract platform, and the industry and the predicted expansion of the US M2 money supply. The company said that the total market cap for the smart contract platforms will grow 43% from $770 billion today to $1.1 trillion by the end of this year. And this growth essentially is thanks to an increase in the United States M2 money supply and is expected to reach $22.3 trillion by the end of 2025. Historically, the expansion of the M2 money supply in the United States has been strongly correlated with the increase in crypto market capitalization. In other words, the more they print, the more we go higher up. Solana currently holds about 15% of essentially their SCP market cap. Van Eck forecasts that by the end of 2025, Solana's market share will increase to 22%. This is essentially supported by Solana's supremacy in developer activity, decentralized exchanges, in terms of volume, and their active user growth. Based on the essentially auto-aggressive AR forecast models and Solana's expected market share growth, Van Eck estimates that Solana market cap could reach approximately $250 billion with around $486 million floating in Solana tokens. This would imply that a price of $520 per token by the end of 2025. Currently, Solana's price is around $190, down nearly 5% in the last 24 hours, and essentially 21% lower than over the past week. However, it is up to 98% from their previous year and reached an all-time high of over $294 in January 2025. So, Van Eck's new potential perspective on our market space is that Solana could possibly reach $530. Now, they're basing it on essentially the M2 money supply. The more they print, the more higher we go up. But in general, that shouldn't just apply to Solana regarding the M2 money supply. It should apply to the entire crypto space, to be fairly honest. Not the entire crypto space, but legitimate projects inside the crypto space it should really apply to. So it's not just Solana's price that's going to increase because of the M2 money supply. It's also going to be a lot more crypto projects that are going to go up in value. Bitcoin should go up in value. Essentially, XRP will go up in value. XLM will go up in value. HBAR will go up in value. NEAR will go up in value. Chainlink, AVAX, on the finance ton. A lot of crypto projects will do very well if there's, expansion of the M2 money supplies in the United States, to be fairly honest. But they're just projecting what they think Solana is going to go to. But in general, the rest of the crypto space will pick up, obviously, with an expansion of the M2 money supply. Now, Moving on essentially from Solana's from the Vanik perspective of Solana, what price point it could possibly reach, to Ondo Finance. And by the way, that is a incredible news. We're going to M2 supply money. But we're going to move to Ondo Finance. But before we go through the Ondo Finance news, which essentially they did a live today as well, Ondo Finance, where they talked about their new token, essentially what they're going to produce and how much more they're going to go into tokenizations and how they're going to be more institutionalized and so on. So we're going to go through all of that. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. As I said previously, this is live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So let's go inside the comment section first, and then we go straight into the next news, which is regarding Ondo Finance. Let's see where we were. Orphan says, good evening, Miles of CMF. Good to see you, Orphan. How you doing? How you been? Morning, Miles of CMF. Shelly says, morning. Good to see you, so Shelly. How you been? How's things? Good evening, Miles, and all inside of CMF. Addy, good to see you, so how you doing? How you been? JP says, the Fed and the rest of them are changing their minds about everything. It's amazing how things are moving along with Trump. Trump is the best thing for the space. Just don't listen on the noise. I agree 100%. Trump is definitely the best thing for any market space. He's the best thing for the United States. He's the best thing for the world. He's the best thing for the crypto space, even though some people might disagree that Trump might not be the best candidate for the crypto space because of how much of a volatile state he's caused. But in reality, Trump is actually trying to fix the crypto space. But at the exact same time, he's doing tariffs, which is causing volatility. But it's something he has to do. There's no option about it. But at least Trump is laying in the foundation alongside doing tariffs. Because what I like is that he's not doing one thing at a time. Trump hasn't stopped signing executive orders back to back. He's not doing one thing and then getting it done with and then starting another thing. He's doing everything at the exact same time. On one side, he's laying in the foundation for the crypto space in terms of the regulations, where Congress is getting more involved and senators are getting more involved in terms of regulations. And on the other side, he's laying in the tariffs. So he's trying to fix the world on one side, make America first. And on the other side, he's trying to lay the foundation for the crypto space in the United States to become the capital of cryptocurrencies. So he's doing a lot for the crypto space, but it might not seem like that to some people because the market hasn't moved up the way you wanted to do, essentially to go up to. Now, hi, Miles and CMF. How do you feel in tokens of XCN and XPR? What do I feel about XCN and XPR? XCN did quite well for itself, if I'm not mistaken, but it's not a crypto project that I've ever went mostly towards in any sort of way, and neither have I ever went up to XPR. I don't know, if, to be fairly honest, what their recent developments are, if they have any sort of recent contracts or licenses in place. But Golden Dragon, you can leave a message, just leave a comment outside the live on the YouTube post, and I'll reply back to your comment. I'll look into them, see what recent developments they've done, recent contracts they've signed, or any sort of licenses they've essentially got in different jurisdictions, and I'll get back to you. Carol, good to see you as well, brother. How you doing? How you been? Hey, Miles. Dale, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Lena, hello, Miles and CMF. Good to see you, Lena. How you been? Stormy, let's go. Let's go, Ondo. Yes, definitely, let's go, Ondo. Ondo is doing a lot of great things. Ondo was a crypto project that I talked about when it was first introduced. TIA, Celeste, and Ondo pretty much launched at the exact same time. And I revealed both of them on this live when they first opened their doors. And Ondo has done a lot for itself. A lot. So Ondo essentially today did a massive event where they talked about how they're going to move forward and what other things they're going to be offering to the institutional space when it comes to tokenization. So here it is. Ondo Finance launches a new blockchain for tokenized assets. Ondo Finance announced the launch of its new Layer 1 blockchain, Ondo Chain, today. The Ondo Summit in New York City that essentially was going on today. This blockchain network provides essential support to institutional adoption as tokenized real-world assets are becoming an important trend in the finance world. According to Nathan, the CEO of Ondo Finance, Ondo Chain was created with the aim of meeting the highest institutional essentially standards, yet at the same time being open enough for developers and innovators. Ondo Chain is designed essentially to meet the highest institutional standards while remaining open for developers and innovators. In the press release, he essentially said, the platform is aimed at creating a shift in public essentially and permission governance approaches, so as to allow potential partners to work with tokenized real-world assets. Ondo Chain is intended to offer a solution that combines security, low cost, and better user experience. In addition, along with the main features, the new blockchain has permission essentially validators that come up with system to prevent front end running and allow gas fees for more seamless essentially experience. The main objective is to make the financial institutions that use the platform for different applications like prime brokerage, staking, and cross essentially catalyzed margins for real world assets and cryptocurrencies. Monsters become more relative essentially in this industry. Ondo Finance believes that through this unique mixture of features, Ondo Chain can and would explode into a spotlight in decentralized financial space, providing digitalized assets and services to a wide range of financial and corporate sectors. The launch of Ondo Chain is a part of a larger initiative by Ondo Finance to integrate traditional finance systems into the decentralized financial space, and the new network, which aims to bridge the gap between these two worlds, not only offers security and compliance that institutions require, but also provides flexibility to developers. It's an interesting thing that Ondo has decided to essentially create Ondo Chain, which makes life simpler for institutions, which also makes life simpler in a way for developers. So Ondo wanted to be involved more inside the institutional space, but also give that little space to the developer side, to the retail section to do what they want on the chain to also develop. So, but their main focus right now is shifting over to institutions compared to the retail section, which makes a lot of sense because according to many high-profile executives and CEOs around the world, one of them being essentially Grayscale, JP Morgan analyst, Standard Chartered Bank analyst, even BlackRock's analyst once came out and talked about it, how the next clientele are going to be institutional clientele this year moving forward. So it makes sense why Ondo Finance thinks this is pretty much the next big step for them to be more involved in that particular space. Now, Ondo Finance does operate on essentially the ETH chain, but also it operates on the XRP ledger. That is incredible for the XRP ledger. It's incredible for the other chain is also operating on. But in general, Ondo Finance is one hell of a project. I mean, they are the biggest tokenized real-world asset tokenization project on the essentially BlackRock's build project, which is credible in itself because the amount of major corporations inside the United States and Ondo Finance, a blockchain crypto project, is pretty much the #1 project on that basis, on the build essentially from tokenization project. So, I don't know what's happening here. 1 second. So, moving on essentially from Ondo Finance to, okay, I don't know what's happening. I think the LED lights are having a situation here. 1 second. Okay, we should be back. Yeah. Now, moving on essentially from Ondo Finance to potential candidates for Trump's essentially crypto council. So potential candidates from essentially Trump's council have been chosen. They've been listed on the news of who could be possibly next. Now, we do have certain candidates from, for example, Brad from Ripple. We also have candidates from Kraken. We also have candidates from Coinbase, which is the CLO, or even Brian. We have some other candidates essentially to go through as well for who could be chosen to back Trump in that potential. 1 second. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, so the light is fixed. Now, potential candidates for essentially Trump's crypto council have been revealed, which is the candidates we all suspected is going to be chosen. Regarding Brad, regarding Crypto.com, regarding Kraken, regarding Coinbase, these are all the CEOs and executives that have been chosen for this position. And well, here it is. Potential candidates for the US President Donald Trump's essentially working group on digital markets have been revealed for the next crypto industry executives via the highly coveted seats of the advisory council. According to a New York Post, essentially, the executives include former Kraken general counsel and Ripple's co-founder Brad, podcast essentially host Frank, and the Circle CEO, essentially Jeremy, and Coinbase's Brian Armstrong, CEO as well, and essentially the CEO of Crypto.com. These are all the potential candidates that have been chosen to work alongside Trump to bring the regulations and to bring everything in for the crypto space. Now, if, for example, one of these candidates is chosen, for example, Brad from Ripple's side, this is extremely positive news for XRP. And if other candidates are chosen for other crypto projects, then that's the same thing. According to the New York Post, the executives include, and the list by no means essentially is extensive, and potential candidates for the advisory council will report to be selected based on industry experience. President Trump's recent executive order in establishing a working group on digital asset markets was broadly essentially welcomed by the crypto industry as a systematic shift in the US government stance towards the currencies. President Trump's executive order essentially established a crypto advisory council, instructed the council to study essentially the potentials for a strict digital reserve asset and potentially for a Bitcoin essentially reserve, but we don't know if it's still going to be a Bitcoin reserve or a crypto stockpile, and has essentially prohibited the developments of a central bank digital currency CBDC. So if you're going to be chosen for cryptos, essentially for the Trump crypto team, you have to be a little bit anti-CBDC for the time being. Now, the digital asset industry plays a crucial role in innovations and the economic developments for the United States. And the order reads, the executive action essentially that individuals or essentially across government agencies be included in the working group of digital assets and markets. These officials include essentially the Secretary of Treasury, the Attorney General, the Secretary of Commerce, the Secretary of Homeland Security, the Director of Office Management and Budgets, the Chairman of the Commodities Futures and Trading Commission, and others. Pretty much everyone's going to be a part of this whole Trump team for a massive crypto space. Personnel from the Federal Reserves, essentially, and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporations, FDIC, were essentially excluded from the list of mandatory positions on the council because the FDIC in the past has stifled crypto projects from being able to connect to American bank systems, which is what caused that whole major issue of Operation Choke Point 2.0. Now, the FDIC is being investigated right now by Congress because of how much stifling they did, and it was all pretty much fraud. And apparently, according to one governor, or according to one senator as well, the FDIC was blackmailing their own employees to not talk about how they stifled crypto companies from working with banks, that they weren't allowed to talk about it. It's something that is also being essentially investigated by Tom Hemmer. But now, both the FDIC and some other organizations both try to kill the industry, the crypto industry in general, through debanking and especially targeted by companies, Custodian Bank. Both belong on the essentially outside. Custodian founder Catalin long said in a response in the exclusion of both agencies, the FDIC released 790 pages of correspondence between the government bureau and the US firms attempting to offer crypto-related services to their clients as a part of a regulatory essentially shift, and the document essentially included pause letters and the request of more information from crypto firms and banks, and seemingly designed to stall the approval process. As a part of the documents essentially released, an acting FDIC chairman, Travis Hill, expressed interest in collaborating essentially with the president newly commissioned working group on digital assets and market space. So in general, a few organizations have been banned from joining the Trump crypto team. That's going to make America great and become the capital of cryptocurrencies. But in reality, the people that have been chosen and they're on the list are extremely pro-crypto people because they're all CEOs and executives and CLOs of crypto companies. And one of them being Brad, who is apparently the #1 candidate so far to be chosen to be a part of essentially Trump's crypto team. Now, before we go through the next news, which is regarding another major corporation that's joined the ranks essentially inside the crypto space, we're going to be talking about essentially, let's go to the comment section first, and then we go straight into the next news, which is another corporation that's joined the crypto space. This is a massive corporation, $200 billion of assets under management, and they've just decided to join the crypto space. So let's go to the comment section first, and then we go straight into the next news. As I said previously, this is live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down in the comment section. We're more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So let's go to the comment section first, and then we go straight into the next news. Let's see where we were at. He's doing 100 things at the same time. Yes, he is. JP, let's go. Mike says, good day, Miles and CMF. Good to see you as well. Mike, how you doing? Comatose says, hello, Miles and CMF. Good to see you as well. Comatose, how you been? Happy Pisces. Good to see you as well. How you doing? How's things? Evening all. First time watching. Curtis Hill. Good to see you. How you doing? Evening. Greetings, Miles and CMF. Hope all is well. Ray, good to see you as well. How you doing? How's things? Same lighting as Trump's latest pick. Let's go. I'm 99.99% sure Brad's going to be among the team. For the crypto pick for Trump, I'm sure as well, because the amount of meetings essentially Brad has had and Ripple's essentially top lawyer have had with Trump is interesting. Also, the last pick they chose, referring to what they ate, and what they ate essentially was pretty much a green light for something that's happening between Trump and Brad. So I'm with you, Stormy. 99.99% sure that Brad is going to have some sort of a play in essentially Trump's crypto team, which is going to be exceptional news for the XRP space, for the XRP ledger in general. Now, Tiger One is what we're going to talk about next. Most people probably never heard of this company. Tiger 21 is a massive corporation that holds a lot of substantial amount of assets under management. They hold roughly $200 billion, $201 billion in assets under management they hold currently. And they're thinking about investing $6 billion into the crypto space so far. They can invest a lot more, but they're starting off with $6 billion to invest. So here it is. Tiger 21, a network of essentially investors and entrepreneurs and executives from around the world, has allocated up to $6 billion in cryptocurrencies within its $200 billion portfolio. In a recent interview with CNBC, Michael, the founder and chairman of Tiger 21, stated approximately 1% to 3% of their $200 billion in assets under management is allocated essentially to digital currencies, which essentially equates to about $6 billion. And he emphasized that digital currency space continues to show promise, with some Tiger One essentially being involved even more. And members of Tiger One are influential essentially in the investor space, to be fairly honest. Now, we have some members that are all in. He noted that, pointing to the growing interest inside the sector. Bitcoin in particular has gained recognition as a modern alternative to gold. They're looking into Bitcoin to add to their crypto portfolio. Now, he described it as a store of value and a hedge against essentially instability, particularly in countries like Argentina and Lebanon, where economic volatility drives individuals to seek refuge and alternative assets. In the past, alternative assets would have been gold and silver, precious metals, now obviously being crypto assets. Gold is favored by essentially traditionalists, while Bitcoin is more of the new age option. Both often serve a very similar purpose. They are seen as a safe haven of value, immune to influence of government fiat. Essentially, he explained regarding its investment strategy, they have revealed that nearly 80% of Tiger 21's $200 billion is allocated to long-only risk-off assets, including public and private real estate and private equities. In addition, for the first time in 17 years, the firm's cash position has dropped below 10%. In another development, Steve, for example, the global head of asset management at Galaxy Digital, also announced that the crackdown on crypto has ended by the United States government, which is pretty much a green light for any corporate to get involved. He also highlighted increasing institutional interest and changing regulatory landscapes as a factor for the growing sector in the United States. He also projected that the stablecoin market could grow to $216 billion to $500 billion due to the faster settlements, essentially, and times and lower costs, essentially. He also emphasized the importance of clearer regulatory pathways that are being established by Trump, by people around Trump, by essentially the SEC, due to the new crypto task force that was created overnight. And they fully realize that the crypto industry's potential is much, much more bigger now. So, Tiger 21, another corporation that's just joined the crypto ranks. And Galaxy Digital also coming out and supporting the idea of Tiger 21 coming in with $200 billion of assets on the table. They're only putting $6 billion so far inside the crypto space, but other companies are going to follow in suit and follow the footsteps, essentially, of more institutions inside the United States are going to get more involved. And they're all indicating to one main factor, which is the war on crypto inside the United States has definitely ended by a mile because of all the positivity that Trump has brought for the crypto space. Now, a lot of people would, again, see the whole tariff situation as causing volatility inside the crypto space. But look at the positive note. A lot of great things are happening inside the crypto space in America due to the governors, senators, and Fed members that are also talking all positive about the crypto space. In terms of regulations, they even introduced the Genius Act, for example, a day ago, and the executive order, and the crypto task force, and new chairmen, and new everything. To be fairly honest, everyone's pro-crypto. So a lot of things are in progress, hence why more institutions are getting involved. And it goes back to the other thing as well, that the institutions are the next clientele into the crypto space. And it just shows that when you have another mega corporation coming in, putting $6 billion on the table. Now, on the topic of institutions, Latin America. Latin American businesses are also getting involved in creating their own crypto stockpile. But they're starting off with a few crypto projects, and some of them are only going for one crypto project for the time being. So here it is. Bitcoin treasury adoption grows in Latin America, mirroring the US strategy, essentially the US Bitcoin reserve plan that isn't into motion yet, and it can be a crypto stockpile instead. While discussions about incorporating essentially cryptocurrencies into the corporate reserves are slowly gaining traction in the United States, some of the Latin America's largest corporations are already jumping on Bitcoin on the whole bandwagon, ranking up significant gains on their investments and expanding crypto services to end users in the process. Following the lead of major firms like essentially Strategy, formerly known as MicroStrategy, and even sovereign nations like El Salvador, which have accumulated significant amounts of Bitcoin, many in the region have turned to cryptocurrencies as a way essentially of diversifying savings and as a hedge against inflation, which essentially persistently plagues the continent. 3 Argentinian companies, which are all major corporations, including Mercado Libre, the largest publicly traded firm in the entire region, currently holding a combined total of 1,300 Bitcoins, was revealed in assets, according to data compiled by BitcoinTreasuries.net on corporate and sovereign holdings. The South American nation has also drawn interest globally since pro-Bitcoin President Javier took office more than a year ago, implementing essentially the agenda of listing transactions in crypto, and other currencies. But in some cases, interest from its corporation dates from even earlier are showing massive interest in terms of corporations in Latin America. One of them, for example, being Bitfarms, a global BTC mining company headquartered also in Canada, but founded essentially by Argentinian entrepreneurs, is currently the largest holder of Bitcoin in the region, according to BitGo. The firm, founded essentially 2017, holds 870 Bitcoins and growing. Its most recent data shows that Bitfarms produced an average of 250 Bitcoins per month in 2024 through its operations, which includes data centers in Argentina, Paraguay, Canada, and the United States. Dubbed the Amazon of Latin America for the dominance of its marketplace business throughout the region, Argentinian unicorn Mercado Libre comes in next. The firm, with its market capitalization of $100 billion, sets its sights on Bitcoin for several years ago. Essentially, in 2021, it invested less than $10 million inside the crypto, primarily in Bitcoin and Ethereum. It holds over 412 Bitcoins and 3,040 Ethereum, according to the company's documents, which amount to nearly $50 million at current market prices. He said, now this is a perspective coming out from essentially the CEO of Mercado in a Cointelegraph interview that came out today. They said, "I believe that Bitcoin as a store of value is better than gold," said the Argentinian founder and the internet billionaire entrepreneur. He said a software company based in Buenos Aires reportedly came next with a smaller holding of a little over a dozen Bitcoins. The growing interest of Argentinian companies in cryptocurrencies is not just a sudden marketing move, but instead it's a growing one because the next clientele is institutional clientele. And Latin American countries are a bit more lenient when it comes to cryptocurrencies, unlike the previous United States administration. Now, it began to take shape in 2021, and since then, numerous companies have ventured into the ecosystem, leveraging its advantages as a store of value and investment vehicles. To be fairly honest, Brazil, for example, is massive inside the crypto space. Many essentially blockchain companies have set up shop in Brazil, one of them being Ripple. They have set up shop in Brazil, trying to help the Brazilian government and also trying to get involved in their Brazilian exchanges. Also, Solana has got involved as well. Chainlink has got involved to essentially add their data section inside of it. Many other essentially blockchain companies have got involved inside of Brazil. Coinbase got involved as well. Binance got involved. Crypto.com got involved. it's becoming a massive scene. Latin America is becoming quite big inside the crypto space now. But to be sure, Mercado Libre and other essentially regional giants are still far from being considered crypto whales for the time being. Compared to their companies going all in on Bitcoin, like Strategy, for example, MicroStrategy, which holds nearly 500,000 essentially Bitcoins, the amount of Latin American firms have invested in this asset still remains relatively small compared to MicroStrategy. Indeed, while these investments have proven financially beneficial, there is also the branding aspects to it as well. Even beyond treasury investments, the interest of Latin American tech firm giants inside the crypto business is growing significantly, as these firms essentially take notice of strong levels of adoption among citizens and recognize significant business opportunities. With over 50 million fintech users across the region, Mercado Libre has recently launched its own stablecoin dubbed the Milei Dollar in Brazil, in its largest market space, and the company introduced this token as a part of a loyalty program to keep its users engaged in its marketplace. Argentina is currently one of Latin America's countries with the highest volume of cryptocurrencies in transactions and major companies. Aware of this trend, they have also started incorporating cryptocurrencies in their business models, whether as its payment methods, an investment, or a store of value. One of the largest firms listing crypto services in Latin America, other than specific crypto exchanges, is Nubank. Now, Nubank essentially is a crypto bank that has the backbone of their investments are coming actually from Berkshire Hathaway. The same establishment said that essentially famously known for not getting involved inside the crypto space is backing a crypto bank, Berkshire Hathaway. Now, the publicly essentially traded Brazilian bank, which is partially owned by Warren Buffett's Berkshire essentially Hathaway and reports over 100 million users in Brazil's, Colombia, and Mexico, has been persistently growing its crypto offerings to cater to the demands of the Latin American market space. While initially introduced trading in 2022, citing a growing trend in Latin America, it has since expanded its menus to much more bigger places. Now, in December, it announced also it would allow users to swap BTC, SOL, and UNI directly for USDC and vice versa. It also said that as many of their 30% of their users had USDC in their portfolios and has recently enhanced its reward programs for stablecoin investments. And swaps are growing demand from clients and the start of incorporating crypto assets into their strategies. Nubank's executive director of cryptocurrencies and digital assets said in a press release, this initial rollout with USDC and the four most popular crypto projects provides a way to secure potential profits from price appreciations without essentially exiting essentially the market, all from benefiting from lower fees. Just want to point out that regarding Latin America, if you are not essentially in a Latin American country, but you're thinking to yourself, how would this news have any sort of relevance if you live in North America, for example, or in Europe, or in the UK, or Australia, or wherever you may live, this news is still very important because Latin America does bring a lot of money to the table, since every company back-to-back in Latin American countries are getting involved inside the crypto space. These are all institutions that bring more and more daily money to the crypto space. So in general, it's a positive for the entire crypto space. So you might think sometimes when I do share news from Latin America or Europe or America or Canada or Australia or Japan or Singapore, you might be thinking to yourself, well, I don't live in these countries. What's the relevance to me? Well, the relevance is the amount of money they bring to the open market space, which you are operating on, which means that goes up, you go up. Now, the next news we are going to be talking about, but before we go through it, we're going to go inside the comment section. But the next news we are going to be talking about on tonight's live is regarding BRICS. But before we go through the BRICS news, let's go inside the comment section. As I said previously, this is live, which means if you do have any comments, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So let's go inside the comment section first, and then we go straight into the BRICS news next. Let's see where we were. And by the way, I read everybody's comments one by one, so I don't miss out on anyone's comments in any sort of voice. If you do have any comments, go for it. Let's see where we were at. We were at here inside the comment section. Hello from South Detroit. How you doing, Crypto? Joe, glad to be here. Let's go. Any news on the merchandise CMF miles? I'll let you know when the movement is launched. I'll let you know before it's launched. Awesome. I will definitely look into it. I've been looking into crypto for a while now, so not newbie, but still have ways to go. Curtis, you're new to the crypto space or new-ish to the crypto space? Well, you're in the perfect spot. If you are somebody that's new-ish or even new inside the crypto space or even more advanced inside the crypto space, tune into these lives every day, Monday to Friday, 11:25 p.m. UK time onwards. to get the most latest information inside the crypto space. And also, I do a lot of free things. So everything I provide is completely free of source. You can tune to this live and learn about the crypto news space, learn about the market space, and so on. You can tune in also into the CMF Crypto Mouse Family Lounge, the X essentially page we've created for ourselves. You can also join the Telegram group, which is free as well. Everything I provide is completely free of source. I've been providing these services for over 2.5 years now. So everything's free of source, and it will always stay free of source. Now, I posted my Facebook for free as well. Cooking with Curtis. Let's go. Cooking with Curtis. Can someone explain what XRP does? Yes, XRP is used for a medium of payments, essentially. If someone wants to do transactions, for example, let's just say two banks want to do transactions. One bank is operating in dollars, the other bank is operating in euros. Now, if we go by the traditional payment system, the bank that's operating in euros will have to have the equivalent amount of dollars, and the bank that's operating in dollars will have to have some euros to make a transfer back and forward internationally. But now this is where XRP comes and plays a role. XRP will play a medium of payments. Both banks, essentially the American bank that's holding dollars and the European bank that's holding euros, both of them can just hold XRP, where XRP can be used as a medium of payments. Now, the reason why they say XRP can't be cheap is because if somebody's trying to move $1 million, for example, from an American bank to a European bank, it could be two businesses trying to do a transaction or two retail section members doing transactions or whatever. Essentially, if XRP is operating at a much more higher price point, it will take less XRP to do that transaction, which means XRP has to be sitting at a high price point. Because if we're going to do transactions on XRP 24/7, every bank is going to be operating and doing transactions 24/7 in that digital space, and the majority of those banks are with XRP, pretty much. Then that means XRP has to be operating at a higher price because the amount of money that's going to be moved daily is going to be a ridiculous amount. Also, Swift has some difficulties, and the amount of money that it moves day by day can be increased using blockchain. So small size businesses and medium-sized businesses don't tend to do international deals due to the fees on Swift. So what also XRP offers in that sense is small and medium-sized businesses will get more involved on becoming more international, which will grow the market space, the business space even more, the e-commerce space, because of the XRP ledger, because of XRP playing a medium of payments, because Swift is no longer in charge. So the amount of money that Swift is moving daily today is limited, and it's only because mega corporations are the ones that are mostly doing international transactions. While as essentially when you involve XRP into the factor, small size businesses and medium-sized businesses can get involved and becoming more international, which will bring a lot more money to the table, which will essentially mean that the numbers that Swift are doing can increase a lot more if that was an XRP system instead. So the role that XRP is playing is a medium of payments. It's playing the role of medium of payments. Instead of every bank holding different currencies around the world, because just in case they have to do euro transactions or pound transactions or yen transactions or ruble transactions or dollar transactions, instead they can just hold XRP. Both sides. And XRP can be used as a medium of payments. So banks don't have to hold multiple currencies to be able to do international transactions. They can just hold XRP. They can hold one currency to be used as a medium of payments worldwide. And it's faster and it's cheaper. And Ripple did also a blog post about how they can get small size and medium sized businesses more involved and becoming more international, because they're putting their focus there as well. Because small businesses and medium sized businesses in America and around the world are missing out on the opportunities of expanding and becoming international due to the fees on Swift. That's why Ripple also created a post about how they're going to get more involved in the small and medium-sized businesses as well. But essentially, that's what the role of XRP is, a medium of payments, where banks don't have to hold multiple currencies. They can just hold one currency and do all types of payments. They can do dollars, pounds, euros, rubles, yens, any type of currency they want to do, they can do it. They only have to hold XRP as a medium of payment, not multiple currencies. That's what the role of XRP is, as a medium of payment. Now, but XRP plays more roles as well in terms of tokenizations and so on, the XRP ledger. But just for XRP, what it does, that's what it does. For cross-border payments, yes, it's a layer 1 for cross-border payments. That's true, Curtis, yeah. But yeah, Johnny, now you know. Johnny Bravo. What price can this so-called XRP reach? XRP can reach a very, very high price point, and it should reach a high price point, because A lot of people see XRP's token supply as too ridiculously high, having 99 billion token supply. And in reality, 99 billion tokens might look like a lot of tokens now, but the world is operating on a digital basis and transactions will be made 24/7, it's not that many, to be fairly honest. But it has to be operating at a high price because the amount of money that's being moved daily. So someone around the world could be moving $1 million, someone else could be moving $100 million, someone else could be moving $200 million. And then we have the oil trades essentially that's happening around all the real estate trades, the automotive trades, the derivatives market space. So there's a lot of things happening in terms of transactions on a daily basis 24/7 around the world. Therefore, XRP cannot be at a small price point, because if someone's trying to move $1 million essentially to another bank, to another country, and XRP is being used as a medium of payment. If XRP is $1 per token, then they would need 1 million XRP for that transaction to be completed for the other bank as a medium of payments. Therefore, XRP has to be setting a higher price point, the amount of transactions can be done. And also small and medium-sized businesses are missing out on these opportunities. Also, when they get involved, it's going to be a lot more transactions being made. Therefore, XRP cannot be sitting at a low price point. It just cannot. The example that I also give you is the same example that David Schwartz has given before, the CTO of Ripple, regarding the how it can't be selling a low price point when you need 1 million tokens essentially of XRP. But if XRP was a $1 million per token, for example, then they would need 1 XRP to make $1 million transaction. So it needs to be selling at a higher price point, is what I would say. The charts are a mess, but most of us got XRP at 49 cents. That's true. I got my, it could go as high as $7 this cycle, if not higher, because of American adoption. I agree 100%. It's going to go a lot more higher, but I agree 100% regarding duty in America becoming a capital of cryptocurrencies. But you also have to factor in, when America aims for capital of cryptocurrencies, every other country is aiming for the same title. For example, you have Hong Kong, who's waiting to see what Trump's next footstep is inside the digital world so they can follow Trump's footsteps. You have South Korea, who's waiting for Trump to take his next footstep as well. You have Tokyo, that's waiting for Trump to take his next footstep. Singapore and Dubai, London, the EU under the MiCA regulations, Latin American countries. Every country right now is looking at Trump to see what his next steps are inside the digital space. They said publicly, Hong Kong said publicly that they're waiting for Trump's next footsteps. So did South Korea yesterday, again. So if America aims for capital of cryptocurrencies and creates a crypto stockpile, which is what was signed essentially. So if America creates a crypto stockpile, they buy some Bitcoin or hold their seized Bitcoin, and they buy some XRP because it's an American blockchain company, and they buy, for example, XLM or Cardano or whatever, and America creates this stockpile of these certain crypto projects, the rest of the world will follow America's footsteps and creating the exact same portfolio moving forward. And they'll probably add some of their own tokens into it as well, but they'll have the exact ones that the United States is holding. So the United States buys XRPs, essentially for their stockpile. Every other country that's following America's footsteps, which is pretty much everyone, is also going to be creating a crypto portfolio holding XRP in their stockpile. Because that's just what happens. The Bank of International Settlements put it very simple. If the American markets sneeze, the world market catches a cold. But if the American markets go towards, a different path inside the market space and grow their economy, then the rest of the world will also follow their footsteps in that positive market space as well. $7 seems low. Yeah, but that's not a reach. Yeah. Crypto Miles, how many XRP would you recommend to hold? Range from $10,000 to $50,000. 10,000. If you hold 10,000, essentially XRP is a great amount. If you hold $50,000 worth of XRP, is still a great amount as well. Whatever you can afford, everyone's budget is very different. As long as you're willing to hold on for a long period of time and get to a stage where you want to borrow against your crypto assets, essentially, and use it as collateral, not financial advice. I like that. Let's go, Curtis. The only crypto influencer that doesn't ask for any money and speaks all facts daily. Let's go, Shelly. Thank you so much for the kind words. Hey, Miles, in your opinion, what is the timescale for a more international adoption? The timescale for a more international adoption depends on how fast the United States moves. The faster the United States moves, the faster the rest of the countries will move. So it all depends on what Trump's next footsteps are going to be. Now, he has signed an executive order, which is great. A crypto task force was created overnight inside the SEC when Gary Gensler left. Great. The SEC has fired 50 lawyers so far and essentially made their top lawyer, who was going up against Ripple and so on, and replaced them and put them inside of an IT department. Amazing. The CFTC has a new pro crypto chairman. The SEC has a pro crypto chairman as well, Mark acting current chairman. And then you have Hester Pearce in charge of the crypto task force. You have the FDIC. You have the FDIC with a new chairman as well, is also pro crypto, but they left out a few things. Well, you also have Congress talking about the crypto space. Recently, we had Congress talk about the crypto space. We have senators talking about the crypto space in terms of regulations. They introduced the Genius Act so far. They removed the SAB 121 Act as well. So a lot of things have happened inside the crypto space. But the ones that we need to happen this year, which are going to happen, in my opinion, is going to be the cases are going to get dropped for XRP, especially for XRP. The case is going to get dropped this year, guaranteed, because there's no point of this case carrying on. Also, the head lawyer being removed and so on. So, in terms of, are we going? When's the international stage of adoption going to be starting? It should be starting this year. Domestically and internationally, should be starting this year. Because we've even had the CEO of Bank of America coming out on the World Economic Forum and stating that banks are ready for crypto. The CEO of Bank of America, who has stated essentially that they are using the XRP ledger for payments and they're loving it. They're essentially using XRP for payments and they're loving it. So in terms of an international adoption, domestic and international, domestic will start out this year, international will also start out this year, but it will carry on getting bigger and bigger as the years go throughout. The end date is pretty much 2027. So 2024 was the start of the progress of ETFs and so on and so on. 2025 being essentially the year of regulations and institutions coming in, and domestic payments starting and international starting slowly. And then 2026 will have a lot more inside the regulation space. And 2027 is pretty much the end date, because HSBC Bank, Lloyds Bank, Santander Bank, Barclays Bank, and a few other banks all mentioned at the exact same time that by 2027, there's going to be no more bank branches on the high street, which is an indication that if there's no more bank branches on the high street, then we're fully digital by 2027, pretty much. There'll be a few ATM cash points open for you to go and put your cash in to essentially turn it into digital money. It could be stable coins or CBDCs, depending on your own jurisdictions. But in general, 2027 is pretty much the end date. But 2025 is the start of the cases getting dropped, the regulations coming through, and banks starting adoption. And institutional clientele is this year. So this year we should see that shift happening, is what I'm trying to say. Miles, I think US aid will affect the market even more as all this news comes out about them. Yes, US aid is impacting the market space in terms of noise. And we have a lot of essentially Democratic politicians. Now, when I say Democrats or Republicans, I'm never referring to the people that support them. I'm referring to the politicians only. So the Democratic politicians are fuming right now because of US aid, and the US aid news is taking over. Essentially, they're thinking about suing Elon Musk, which we talked about yesterday, and it is a lot of noise, is what I would just say. It's just a lot of noise, because yesterday we had some great news come out when Congress was talking about, senators and Congress members were talking about the crypto space and regulations, which was incredible. But then the news was overshadowed by essentially Democratic politicians being crybabies about their budget being taken away from them. But I think Elon did a great job with Doge, the Department of Government officially, to be fairly honest. But a lot of that essentially US aid news is overshadowing what's actually happening inside the crypto space, and the whole Chinese news as well regarding the United States and China going into this tariff battle, which China is going to lose 1 billion% guaranteed. But it is overshadowing all the positivity right now inside the crypto space. But tariffs are going to cause short-term volatility, but long-term wise, we're good to go. What top 5 coins would you recommend, Crypto Mouse? What top 5 coins would I recommend? What I would recommend is the financial category inside the crypto space in general. If anybody ever asks me, what would you go for inside the crypto space? It's always going to be the financial category, because money going digital is the most crucial point of this whole digital world. So everything will rely on money going digital first, which is going to be XRP, XLM, XDC in HBAR, and ACH will play a role in that matter as well, or even Ondo Finance. But tokenization is also a subcategory on the finance category. But money going digital is the #1 category inside the entire crypto space. People will tell you it's DePIN, it's DSIN, it's gaming, it's AI, it's so on, Web3 data. It isn't. Money going digital is the first category, because what makes the world spin? Is it AI? No. Is it Web3? No. Is it data? No. Is it gaming? No. What makes the world spin? Everybody will learn this in year 1 in school. What makes the world spin is money. Money going digital is the first category that you should only be focusing on. The second category you can focus on is data, which is as important as money, but money is obviously more important. But in a digital world, data will play a very crucial role, which essentially everything will rely on it. AI relies on data centers. Gaming rely on data. Web3 rely on data. Everything will pretty much rely on data, especially if we go into this social credit system type of world as well, where it's ESG numbers, which is already something that they use for corporations, but now they can use it for the public. But money is number one category. The financial category is always going to be the number one category, especially now we're going into regulations and utility, which is definitely a crucial category right now. And the next clientele will be banks and institutions. Bank of America's CEO coming out, banks are ready for crypto. Where do you think they're going to go towards? The financial category. So top 5 coins right now to be focused on financial category: XRP, XLF, XDC, HBON, ACH, and all the finance. But that's tokenization, but subcategory. But focus on top 3 or top 4. How much is Ripple funded by USAID miles? As far as I'm aware, none. XRP was second before America's SEC got a hold of them. True, XRP was actually first at one point. It was XRP and then it was Bitcoin. And I have screenshots of that essentially on CMC. A long time ago, XRP was first, and then it was Bitcoin and everybody else. But then it obviously became second and then third and fourth due to the SEC case. Also, SBI Holdings by 2025 as well. Yes, Shelley is right. Also, SBI Holdings by 2025, the CEO of SBI Holdings has confirmed that 2025 is going to be the starting point, but he has also stated that he's waiting for this case to be dismissed or settlements happening with the XRP case, which is guaranteed to happen because there's no way the SEC is going to carry on this case with this pro-positivity that they're bringing to the table. Also, Trump's administration chose Mark as the acting chairman of the SEC to bring positivity to the SEC, which means that they cannot go and continue this lawsuit of Ripple or Coinbase or Binance and so on, which also we have clear signs that they're not going to be carrying on these cases since they got rid of their top lawyer who's continuing this case against Ripple. So on those bases, yes, SBI Holdings as well this year. So in terms of domestic and international payments should be happening this year. Pretty much, it has to happen. I've been playing with AMP. It's out of New York. AMP is good as well, Curtis. I don't know what the recent developments are pretty much, but AMP is also good from previous developments I know about them. He's doing a great job. I agree. Great information. Let's go, Curtis. Thank you for the kind words. Someone mentioned USAID. The circus freaks had some weird stuff going on with their monies. Thoughts and prayers for employees' families. Seriously, though, thank God Trump won. Let's go, Ray. Facts. Now, the number one thing that everybody talked about a very long time ago inside the crypto space, and still do, because it's still big news, BRICS. Now, everybody would have heard about BRICS inside the crypto space, which is Brazil, Russia, India, and China and South Africa. The famous BRICS, the famous countries that came together to go against the US dollars. And I said a long time ago that BRICS will never happen. Some people would have said, no, it's going to happen. Some people would have agreed with me. But everybody obviously agrees with me inside the CMF. And guess what? BRICS isn't apparently going to happen. So the biggest news was BRICS is creating its own currency. BRICS is creating its own currency to go against the US dollars. And everybody thought that that's going to happen. Everybody thought that BRICS will create its own currency and, go against the US dollars and try to compete with the US dollars. And I said, it's not going to. Because I said, what country do you know that is going to essentially give up their power? I said, we live in a world, if everybody remembers, my exact words were, we live in a world where it's all about greed and power. And everybody wants more greed and more power. So in what sense do people assume the United States is just going to step back from the US dollars and just let BRICS take over the show? I said it's never going to happen. So the Kremlin from Russia has ended the rumors. BRICS not planning a unified currency. So the whole topic of BRICS is coming out of their own currency, No, it isn't. Now, a lot of people also think that this is bad for XRP. It isn't. XRP will still be playing a role whether BRICS exist or doesn't exist because it's a medium of payments. So keep that in mind as well. So BRICS was either way, positive or negative, it doesn't really matter because XRP is still going to play a role in a medium of payments in general. For Russia, Brazil, South Africa, and India, it's still going to play a role in general. So if BRICS existed or didn't exist, it didn't make a difference. Because a lot of people like to assume BRICS, XRP. In reality, BRICS exist or doesn't exist, XRP is still there. As in, those countries are still going to use it as a backbone of medium of payments. So it doesn't have to exist or not. So here it is. The Kremlin. The rumors about the common currency for the BRICS resurfaces regularly and fueled by speculation about a possible counterweight to the dollar. Several nations seek to reduce their dependence on the greenback. The possibility of a shared currency raises concerns for the United States. Donald Trump has essentially threatened to impose sanctions on countries considering essentially an alternative to the US dollars. However, the Kremlin has just diffused the debate. Russia itself has diffused the entire debate and said there is no such thing, project, in its essentially discussions in any sort of a way. Instead, the bloc favors joint investment platforms, which leaves doubts about its true monetary strategy. The Kremlin shuts the door on single currency. So Russia has said no more single currency, and it never existed. You see the power Trump has, and you see how I was right again. Dmitry, the spokesperson for the Kremlin, dismissed any essentially ideas regarding Russia's position and said the BRICS are not discussing the creation of a common currency. This clarification responds to numerous rumors suggesting a project aimed at essentially competing with the US dollars. This is pretty much another sign, as I was talking yesterday about, how China is losing its power day by day against Trump. Another sign that China's plans to dominate the world with their yuan is crumbling, literally crumbling, where even Russia doesn't want to continue with the idea of this BRICS nonsense. This clarification responds to the numerous rumors suggesting a project aimed at competing with the dollar. Despite the interest of some member countries in a monetary alternative, no such initiative is underway at all. According to Dmitry, discussions within the BRICS primarily focus on joint investment platforms and economic cooperation mechanisms instead, not competing with the US dollars. Who said we're competing with dollars? Far from seeking to disrupt the global monetary order, as in the US will still be number one. The group aims primarily to strengthen trade among its members only, not to go against the US dollars. This statement comes aimed at heightened tensions with Washington. Thus, some American officials perceive the BRICS as a threat to the dollar supremacy. By putting an end to speculation, Moscow seems to want to dispel concerns and avoid economic escalations from the United States. In other words, Russia has backed down because of Trump. Remember when I said the amount of power Trump has, the amount of strength the United States has? And I also said a long time ago, BRICS is never going to happen. The idea of anybody going against the US dollars, never going to happen. I said this a long time ago. Where now it's come to a stage where Russia has completely backed away from the idea of BRICS creating a currency for itself. The Kremlin has came forward and said, no. Who said we're creating an alternative to the US dollars? If we're going to do BRICS, it's just to, do trade deals with each other. We're still going to use the US dollars. We're just doing trade deals. By putting an end to speculation, Moscow seems to want to dispel any sort of escalations from the United States. Once again, China is crumbling. And Trump intensifies pressure on the BRICS nations also, while the Kremlin statements puts an end to the speculations about a common currency for BRICS nations. It does not alleviate the growing tensions with Washington. Donald Trump reacted firmly and threatened to impose 100% tariffs on their products on the bloc's countries that would consider creating a new currency when he first became president. When Trump first became president, he said if any country goes against the US dollars, 100% tariffs. Which now you fast forward to today, where Russia is coming out and saying, who said we're creating a currency? No one's creating a currency. Everybody loves the US dollars. On Truth Social, he denounced essentially an attempt to undermine the dollar and warned the idea that BRICS countries are trying to move away from the dollar, while essentially we sit idly by is over. And they must commit not to create a new currency or they will be completely excluded from the American market space. And as I said, a lot of people say, the world doesn't need the US. The world doesn't need the US. The US needs the world. Not true. Because if you really look at it, the world needs the US, and so does Russia, which is why they're backing off of BRICS as currency. These threats are a part of a broader strategy aimed at maintaining the greenback's homage in international trade. However, far from deteriorating BRICS as currency, the countries, this pressure may accelerate the de-dollarization momentum. In reality, it won't. Rather than a single currency, the bloc is exploring other solutions, such as agreements on local currencies and using gold as a benchmark for certain transactions. In an increasingly fragmented economic environment, diversification of financial settlements is gradually emerging as a viable alternative. Using cryptocurrencies, sure, they'll use that for trade, but so is the US. The US is going to use cryptocurrencies for trade as well. But going against the dollars, never going to happen. Trump's stance could essentially strengthen the willingness of emerging nations to break free and any questions of the greenback supremacy, he risks pushing BRICS countries to intensify their financial cooperations, thereby widening the gap. Now, while no common currency is in preparation, the movement towards a monetary stabilization seems inevitable. Now, the Kremlin clarification ends the debate on a single BRICS currency. So BRICS single currency, it's done. The story has ended. There's no more BRICS single currency being created or any sort of a way. It's ended, finished, case closed. Because the Kremlin has confirmed it now. Now, while the bloc does not plan to unify its currencies, several members are already seeking alternatives to secure their exchanges. The US's sanctions and trade tensions may accelerate this movement, prompting more countries to strengthen their local currency payment mechanisms. The fragmentation of exchanges is gradually shaping a financial essentially and still limited to regional transactions. It remains to be seen whether this trend will remain marginal, ultimately essentially redominance to international monetary orders. So they're pretty much saying that we're scared of the United States, is what Russia is saying. Russia is saying we're scared of the United States. We're scared of Trump. We're going to continue using the dollar for trade. We might use our own local currency, but we're going to still continue using the dollars. We're not going to go against we're not going to go against the US dollars. We might use alternative assets like gold for transaction deals or essentially cryptocurrencies alternatives, but the dollars are still number one for us. Which means essentially stablecoin in terms of US dollars will probably be used in terms of transactions or a medium of payments on essentially wholesale CBDCs, which is again XRP in terms of American blockchain company. But all in all, if anybody inside the crypto space is still telling you that BRICS is creating its own currency, well, confirmation has came from Kremlin. And the Kremlin in Russia, Sergio, who is, by the way, Dmitry is the spokesperson for the Kremlin. So it's not just some random journalist from Russia or a politician from Russia. This is Dmitry Peskov, the spokesperson for Kremlin, who has came forward and said there is no such thing as a unified currency in BRICS at all. And we're not trying to, dig a deeper well and become, the enemy of the US. They want to become the friend of the US, not the enemy. So that is what Trump does. Yesterday, I was talking about how Trump, nobody's going to go against Trump. Yesterday, only just yesterday, I was talking about how nobody's going to go against Trump. There's not a single politician or CEO or CEO, essentially. There's not a single prime minister or essentially a president that's going to go against Trump. Companies can go against Trump. Democratic politicians can go against Trump. That doesn't really matter. Nobody cares about them. But essentially, presidents and prime ministers, they're too afraid of Trump, where they're caving on their whole idea of going against the US dollars. But once again, China is feeling the pressure. Because I said this a long time ago. I said BRICS is not about a basket of currencies. BRICS is about China pushing their yuan and essentially making it number one to drop the US dollar's position. I said it's about China. And once again, China is feeling the pressure because China already lost their deal with Panama because Panama ran towards the US and said, we don't want China anymore. And now they've just lost Russia in terms of the unified currency project. Nobody's going against, essentially, honestly, nobody is going to go against Trump. It's just never going to happen. Nobody's going to go against the US dollars. Now, what we're going to talk about next is Czech Republic. But before we talk about Czech Republic, let's go inside the comment section first. As I said previously, this is live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer the questions you may have. Let's see where we are at. BRICS is going to the bottom of the sea. Facts. Me and JP will talk about this as well, like a year ago, how BRICS is never going to happen. What is your thoughts on Silk Road sell-off? Silk Road sell-off. So the founder of Silk Road has been freed by Trump, and he's lost one of his wallets, the rest of his assets on the sell-off situation. It's going to cause some volatility inside the market space, but not on a major scale in any sort of a way. Because there'll be a straight buyback, especially for the ETFs. Sell-off for XRP, I'd like to see. A sell-off for XRP, you would like to see. Yeah, I mean, everyone wants to see that because then we can buy more XRP for a cheaper price point. But let's see. It blows my mind how anyone can think Trump is bad for America. I'm jealous of the brutal dictator we're stuck with in Canada. Yeah, Canada, I mean, is not doing too well as well. I mean, Justin Trudeau, I mean, that's the last person you want in charge of a country. He's just a little bit weird, to be fairly honest. Justin Trudeau is not a little bit weird, incredibly weird of a person. But yeah, I understand. I really don't understand. You know, some people just don't like Trump, which is very, very odd. Me, particularly, I think he's the best leader the United States has possibly ever had. Mohammed says, Pi Network for the market space is incredible. And Pi Network has said, Mohammed has said, Pi Network coin, I need an update about it, please. I brought a reasonable amount of it. Optimistic about the news and what is said about it. Regarding Pi Network, as far as I'm aware, Pi Network was a application on iOS and Android where you download and press a button and you cloud mine some Pi tokens. Other than that, I don't know much about Pi Network. But Mohammed, you can put a comment outside the live. I'll take a look into it and see if they have any sort of updates or announcements on it. I'm more than happy to help you out. Just put a comment outside the live and I'll take a look into it after the live show and I'll reply back to your comment. Bob says, sup. How you doing, Bob? Sup. Shadi says, we need a Trump in Australia too. I'll be honest, we need a Trump worldwide. We need a Trump worldwide situation and we need an Elon Musk Doge Department of Government Efficiency worldwide situation. So we need both of these people worldwide. Every country needs to have a Doge department, like what Elon Musk has created, Department of Government Efficiency, and every country needs a Trump leader because it's the only way we're going to get things done. Because the previous leaders we had in our countries, and some countries we still have our previous leaders, they're useless. Absolutely useless. Did anybody see the video that came out with essentially Kamala Harris? An interview that was leaked with Kamala Harris in 60 Minutes. It was the most embarrassing piece of essentially information, the most embarrassing interview I've ever seen in my entire lifetime. She couldn't answer one simple question. She answered questions with a question, and some of them didn't even make any sort of sense. And she always started off with the famous Kamala Harris phrase, which was, I'm from a middle-class family, as if that meant anything. because she is a greedy OnlyFans politician that wanted to make America into a money pit where it's just burning and hemorrhaging money. She couldn't even handle her campaign money, where she went into debt. And she was supposed to run the country into a successful path. It was the most funniest thing I ever saw. Now, honestly, thank God Trump won. Now, Czech Republic is what we're going to talk about next. The Czech Republic, unlike France, now France essentially decided to introduce a very, very weird, essentially, regulation where it's about taxing you on your crypto assets, even if you don't, taxing crypto assets, even if you don't sell, is what essentially what France is thinking about introducing, taxing crypto assets, unrealized gains, essentially, which is the dumbest thing that any country could pretty much introduce. But France is desperate for money, so they're thinking about squeezing it out of the crypto space. Now, there are European countries that are thinking about, well, that's a bad idea. For example, one of them being Czech Republic. Czech Republic to eliminate taxes on long-term crypto gains, which is great, something that France has tried to do the opposite of, and tax you if you hold your crypto assets. Essentially, the Czech president signed a bill today exempting crypto users from paying taxes on long-term gains. A spokesperson from the country's Ministry of Finance told CoinDesk today, the principle is if crypto assets are held for more than 3 years, their sale will not be taxed. All transactions up to essentially 100,000 Czech money, which is around $4,136 per year, will not be obliged to report in the tax declaration, similar to securities, the spokesperson said. The Czech Republic's Digitalization of Financial Markets Act is now at the final stage of legislation process and will take a week or two to be officially published. The country is a member of the European Union. 1 week ago, a proposal by the Czech National Bank governor, essentially, that the central bank consider adding additional assets like Bitcoin to its reserves was approved by the bank board, but obviously the EU went completely against that. But in general, I did essentially announce that France is thinking about taxing you if you hold your crypto assets and don't sell them. They don't care if you make a profit. They want a piece of the pie of that. And I said it could spread to other European countries, where Italy thought about maybe doing the same scenario and so on. But now you have some European countries coming forward and saying, you know, it's a bad idea. Let's not tax people if they hold their cryptocurrencies, which is the humane way essentially to do it. You should not be taxing someone who holds their cryptocurrencies and don't sell, because essentially you're forcing them to sell, which then they'll be trapped on CBDCs later on. Now, 2 particular crypto projects are about to receive an ETP, and they're about to receive it in Finland. Virtue expands crypto ETP offerings in Finland for AVAX and Cardano. Swedish crypto asset manager Virtue has expanded its crypto exchange traded products portfolio in Finland. So a Finnish company has came forward, essentially decided to get more involved inside the crypto space, and they're starting off with AVAX and Cardano. The company launched 2 new ETP tracking AVAXs and Cardanos, essentially, which started trading on the NASDAQ, essentially the Finnish NASDAQ, today. And after being earlier listed on the NASDAQ Stockholm, this move came just weeks after the Virtue introduced 5 other crypto-backed ETPs as well. Virtue's new offerings provide investors with direct exposure to AVAX and Cardano. The Virtue Avalanche ETP offers a one-to-one backing with AVAX and ensuring investors have essentially direct exposure. Meanwhile, the Virtue staked Cardano ETP provides the same physical essentially backing for ADA, along with a 2% annual return from staking rewards. And according to Virtue's Chief Executive Officer, Christopher Rock, this means that an increasing appetite among domestic investors for diversified crypto essentially exposure. He also said that this firm was thus able to grow its product portfolio. Moreover, both the ETPs will be offered to institutional and retail investors, expanding access to crypto investments in Finland. The asset backing essentially these ETPs are securely stored in cold storage through Coinbase, ensuring maximum security for investors. Additionally, the launch strengthens Finland's growing crypto investment market. The country's $20.5 billion in ETP market is growing, open to essentially crypto products, which is a change in investor presence. So it's a big market space, 20.5 billion euros. Avalanche and Cardano essentially are in the 12th and 19th positions along all cryptocurrencies by market capitalization. Also, Cardano has gained quite some interest, essentially from analyst perspectives, and Virtu's introduction of staked Cardano ETP allow investors to capitalize on both price appreciation and staking rewards when they go for Cardano ETPs in the Finnish stock exchange. This makes an attractive option for those seeking passive income in addition to market exposure. Furthermore, the launch essentially cements Virtu's leadership in Nordic regions in terms of crypto ETP market space, and as a regulatory clarity, it improves institutional interest and it grows Finland's crypto investment landscape and is set for a further expansion. The introduction of these products marks a crucial step towards mainstream crypto adoption in the region, and asset management firm Grayscale applied to U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) to list shares of Grayscale's essentially Litecoin LTC Trust as an exchange product is also happening, and on the New York Stock Exchange. So it's not just Finland that's launching essentially Avalanche and Cardano ETPs, but a ETP essentially Litecoin is coming about as well from Grayscale in the New York Stock Exchange. And according to Grayscale, the Litecoin Trust has over $215 million in assets under management, making it the largest Litecoin investment vehicle. The asset management firm essentially argued that in this trust, its current form does not accurately track the value of the underlying asset in the funds, and the applications for crypto ETFs and ETPs from asset management firms have increased sharply since Trump has become the president of the United States. A lot more ETF applications have definitely been applied because we know where America is headed. America is heading towards this massive, crypto market space moving forward. So that's why we have a lot more ETFs as well. But Avalanche and AVAX Cardano ETPs happening in essentially Finland. And in the United States, Grayscale's ETP for Litecoin is also happening on the New York Stock Exchange. Now, what we're going to be talking about next is XRP news. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. As I said previously, this is live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So let's go inside the comment section first, and then we go straight into the next news. Let's see where we are at. Mohammed says, okay, thanks. No problem. Anytime, Mohammed. Ray says, facts. Every country should have a Doge department, as well as Trump. Haven't seen that Kamala video clip yet, but I heard about it, though. The sniffing and nose running got me. Speaking of President Trump, I'm from Egypt, and we all are optimistic about him. We consider that his new government will bring much more good to the world, but as an Egyptian citizen, we now see Trump is increasing instability by taking other people into consideration, unfortunately, and showing hatred among peoples with his arrogant and condescending manner, unfortunately. I get the point. Some people might hate Trump due to what he might be doing in certain countries, but when it comes to Trump, all I care about is the market space, to be fairly honest. When it comes to Trump, I mostly care about the market space. I care about what he does with the crypto market space. I don't really tend to focus on things that are out of my, if I can't do anything about it, then there's no point of me shifting my focus towards it, is what I'm trying to say. So I can shift my focus towards the market space because I know that I can do something on the market space. But I can't essentially, what on the other things that Trump is doing, in terms of the political space, it doesn't have anything to do with me. It's out of my reach. It's out of, out of my bubble, you could say, pretty much. So some people don't like Trump now because of his certain recent movements inside the Middle East. For me, that's out of my thing. All I care about is the market space, to be fairly honest, is what I wanted to say. Now, it's the crypto market space that I care about. Obviously, I care about some other positive stuff he's doing around the world as well, but I only care about the market space because that's what I can have a hand in. I can't have a hand in anything else, just the market space. Now, I'm enjoying the content. I'll be checking out more of your offers. Let's go, Curtis Hill. Curtis, you can tune in every essentially night, Monday to Friday. You can tune into this live at 11:25 p.m. UK time onwards, Monday to Friday. And yeah, tune into this live, definitely. But stay on the live because now we have XRP news to go through. Mike Novoscott calls the XRP army proof that community drives investment value. So Mike Novoscott, the billionaire, has came forward and mentioned some nice words about the XRP space and what XRP can entitle to do. So here it is. Mike Novoscott, the CEO of Galaxy Investment Partners, has one thing to say about the XRP army. Now, this man is a billionaire, owns a blockchain company, and he's came up with a perspective on the XRP space. So here it is. He said they've proven that the community, the XRP army, is an economic force. Mike admitted that crypto's most rabid, essentially fan base, like XRPs, have completely changed how investors view value. For him, it's not about earnings or margins anymore. It's about who can build the loudest, most die-hard community willing to defend their assets at all costs. In other words, a billionaire blockchain CEO is impressed, incredibly impressed, of how the XRP army is and standing behind what they believe is the right path. And in my opinion, it's not belief, it's guaranteed. And he said, if you're looking for a textbook example of that, Mike says you don't need to search beyond XRP. In a podcast interview, Mike, the billionaire CEO, said, you brought Pepsi because a lot of people brought Pepsi. But now in crypto, it's different. Community itself drives value, and XRP proves that. He pointed out how many essentially minor negative tweets about XRP once got him death threats from enraged supporters. Mike compared the XRP army to Tesla's fan base, which boosted the company into a meme stock status long before it became electronic vehicle giant it is today. But then Wall Street analysts kept saying Tesla's valuation didn't make sense, but the community behind it didn't care and pushed up Tesla's stock price. For years, Ripple's token has been in a battleground between its diehard fans and his harshest critics. Even when Ripple was sued by SEC, XRP supporters didn't back down. Instead, they fought harder, spreading their message across every single social media platform out there, from Twitter to Instagram and even TikTok, where they created hashtags, posted memes, and essentially promoted Ripple's vision of making cross-border payments cheap, fast, and accessible to everyone. That obsession from community-driven value has essentially spread beyond XRP. We got meme coins like Dogecoin and Pepe, whose initial surges were essentially treated as jokes, but have now both become stables in the crypto market space. We thought this was temporary, Mike admitted, but man, oh man, it's been going on for at least 5 years. So, a billionaire CEO of a blockchain company came forward and said, one, he's incredibly impressed about the XRP army. Once, even Mike himself tweeted something bad about the XRP army. And he said he received death threats from the XRP army for tweeting bad things about XRP. But he tweeted a long time ago something bad. And since then, Mike has never tweeted anything negative about the XRP space, because he knows that the XRP army will go after him on the tweets and essentially crush him in some sort of a way. So, but he's impressed about how strong the XRP army is. He's impressed about how the XRP army don't get deteriorated from bad news, from FUD, and that they can see beyond all of that, beyond all of the noise. The XRP army can see XRP playing a very crucial role essentially in the financial system. And he isn't lying, because it is. And on that note, we have reached the endings of tonight's live. Every good thing must come to an end, which it did now. If you're watching this for the first time ever, this was the CMF Live. It stands for Crypto Mouse Family. My name is Miles. I'm the host of this live, and I go by the persona of Crypto Mouse. And I talk about the most recent news on this live, Monday to Friday, 11:25 p.m. UK time onwards. I talk about the most recent news in cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, vital information for you to know about regarding the world completely transforming into a digital stage. So if you want to be informed about the most recent news that's operating around the world in sense of cryptocurrencies, tune in to this live tomorrow even on Monday to Friday in general, 11:25 p.m. UK time. And this was episode 257 of the CMF Live. What you're watching right now is episode 257. Episode 258 is going to be tomorrow. And on tonight's live, we talked about essentially billionaires giving their perspectives on the XRP space. We talked about essentially Virtue, a company that came out of Finland, creating an AVAX and essentially Cardano ETPs, Litecoin going to the New York Stock Exchange, Czech Republic eliminating taxes for cryptocurrencies in the EU. We talked about BRICS in terms of the Kremlin ending all types of stories about BRICS creating a currency for themselves. We talked about essentially Latin American market space increasing crazily inside the crypto space. We talked about on tonight's live also regarding Tiger 21, another massive financial institution that's investing $6 billion inside the crypto space with $200 billion in assets under management. We also went through essentially who Trump could possibly choose for his crypto team behind him, the candidates that are roughly chosen. We talked about Ondo Finance, essentially what they've launched today on their announcements. We talked about Van Eck's prediction essentially on Solana, what price point it could possibly reach. We talked about essentially the Fed, in terms of the top Fed members coming out and talking about interest rates, talking about the crypto space, and talking about how it is quite positive and they need to move faster in terms of regulations. We talked about the Trump media company coming out and partnering up with essentially Charles Schwab's, not the crypto project, but the other company that Trump has, partnering with Charles Schwab's to create ETPs. So we have through a mixture of news on tonight's live. As always, if you're watching for the first time ever, this was the CMF Live. Stands for Crypto Mass Family. I'm Miles, your host. Tune into this live, 11:25 p.m. Monday to Friday. And this was episode 257. So tune in for episode 258 tomorrow. Let's go to that comment section. Obviously, before we do go, I'm enjoying the content. I will be checking out more of your offers. Let's go, Curtis. I'm in Oklahoma. Let's go, Curtis. We have a lot of American viewers on this live. Great. Good night, Miles and family. Great live. Many thanks. See you tomorrow. Ian, see you tomorrow. Same time as usual. Good night, Miles. Take care and see you tomorrow. Mike, see you tomorrow, but at the same time as usual. Good night, Miles and CMF. Carol, see you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. Thanks, Miles, and good night, everyone. See you tomorrow. Orphan, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. Have a great evening, sir. Curtis, you too also. Have a great evening, sir. And tune in tomorrow for episode 258. And welcome to the CMF Live. Night, Miles and CMF. Pablo, see you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. Good night, Miles and all CMF. Thank you for the great live and news. Let's go, JP. See you tomorrow, but at the same time as usual. Thanks, Miles. Great live. Good night, all. See you tomorrow. Free and forever. See you tomorrow. Same time as usual. Solid knowledge, Miles. You keep up all of this well informed. Thank you, Jason. Let's go. See you tomorrow. Same time as usual. Thank you, Miles. Have a lovely night, all. Let's go. See you tomorrow. Same time as usual. Lena, free and forever. See you tomorrow. Same time as usual as well. Comment to see you tomorrow. Same time as usual. Thanks, Miles. Another great program. Let's go, Scott. See you tomorrow, but at the same time as usual. Thanks for your hard work and dedication, bro. We're all blessed to have you. Seriously, all. Love, nothing personal. Take care, all. Let's go, Ray. See you tomorrow, but same time as usual. Thanks, Miles, for being properly prepared. Let's go, Scott. See you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. Brilliant live, as always, Miles. Let's go, Joe. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. Thank you so much to everybody that tuned into tonight's episode. I'll be seeing everybody on tomorrow's episode. And thank you so much to everyone who's liked this live on X, commented on this live on X, outside the live, retweeted this live on X. And thanks so much to everyone on YouTube who's essentially liked the live, commented outside the live, and subscribed. And thanks so much to everyone who's followed me on X on tonight's episode as well. Tune in for essentially tomorrow's episode. Episode 258 will be tomorrow. See everybody tomorrow, same time as usual, 11:25 p.m. UK time. Thanks, Miles. Have a great night, all. Let's go, Stormy. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. Good night, our dearest leader of the worldwide information. God bless. Let's go, Golden Dragon. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. I'll see everybody tomorrow, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. See everybody tomorrow, same time as usual, for episode 258.